So hello everyone, this is your Krishna from Women Today YouTube channel. So in this channel, we have been interviewing many women entrepreneurs and working women across different cities in India. We are just traveling to different cities. We are doing offline interviews and we are also doing online interviews across different cities in India and also across different countries in the world. So today's our guest is from Chandigarh and her name is Pearl and she is a very famous image consultant in Chandigarh. So I welcome you, Pearl ma'am, to this Women Today YouTube channel. So please kindly introduce about yourself, about the kind of work that you're doing to the audience who are watching this interview right now, ma'am.
All right. So I am currently an image consultant and a soft skill trainer. So give to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm basically an engineer, a software engineer and an MBA. I have worked in various cities. I worked in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Toronto, and I worked in Chandigarh as well. But I pivoted into becoming a freelancer because I found a gap, which was that I feel people, when they are transitioning from their student life to their corporate life, that one gap takes longer for them to adapt to. And that is where I felt that soft skills would be most needed. And I think that's why I pivoted. And then image consulting came from a place of, while I was working in my corporate life, I felt a lot of people were not very comfortable in their professional setup. So I felt that maybe I can do a little bit when it comes to image consulting or and even soft skills, both of them combined. So people who are in their professional setup but are not very confident, and there are people who are very good with their hard skills, but because their soft skills are lacking, that becomes like a number one reason why they're not able to succeed. So even if they pivot into something different or something new, if their soft skills are not strong, they mostly there's a possibility that they might not succeed there as well. So irrespective what are your hard skills, till the time your soft skills are not good, it becomes very difficult for you to become successful. That's where I found the gap and that became my vision. So that's why I pivoted into this role.
Okay, that's great, ma'am. So basically, you are actually training the students to make them sure that they land in their dream career. So it's like you're acting
Yes.
as a bridge so that you connect the students and their dreams of their life. I do understand, ma'am. So before moving on,
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
before moving with the soft skills kind of set of questions, people just wanted to know what do you mean by soft skill? So it's the basic word which we have used in the interview. So before knowing moving with the questions, people wanted to know what soft skill. Of course, great professional students actually know, but the other people, the normal people, wanted to know about the soft skills kind of meaning. So tell us about it, ma'am.
So anything which is not your hard skill, anything which is not a technical skill, anything and everything outside that becomes your soft skill. Whether it is your emotional intelligence or it's your communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal, or anything and everything that you can think about, time management, stress management, personality development, anything outside. So if you are a coder, the moment you step out from coding on a system, now or everything, your operation is your soft skills.
So it's basically
How
like
you speak, how you carry.
the communication part other than the technical part. That's what basically contributes to soft skill kind of part, right, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Anything outside, anything technical, which is a hard skill, something as simple as a forklift, operating a forklift, that becomes your hard skill. But anything and everything outside that is your soft skill.
So great, great. So operating forklift is like you're doing a practical thing, and soft skill is like
Yes.
someone who is actually instructing the person who is operating the forklift. So it's basically like the communication part which deals with the soft skill word, right, ma'am?
Communication would be one tenth of the entire universe of soft skills. It's just one tenth of it. There are so many things beyond it. Your emotional intelligence, your empathy, your time management, how you deal with people. There are a lot of things. Your stress management in difficult situations and how you conduct yourself. It's a lot of things. That's what, right? Like once you've done your technical task, anything beyond it becomes your soft skill.
So it has many parts, like starting with the communication part, it's
Yes.
like 1 by 10, and the empathy part and the emotional intelligence. Because whenever you communicate with people, and if you do not able to understand the emotions who is standing in front of you or sitting in front of you, and they keep on talking, they'll be like, okay, I have made my mind wander in some other part. Can you please repeat? Then we'll be like, okay, I have already explained you for past half an hour, so you're not able to kind of grab with me. Then
Yes.
there'll be some kind of problems happening there. So I think this is where
Yes.
soft skills play a very vital role, because we should have some kind of emotional intelligence, some kind of empathy. Of course, people should understand they as their own basic friend. Like each and every human is as considered as their friend. Only then we'll be able to understand the empathy part. So other than that, there are a lot of things in soft skills which will ultimately help them to gain a very wide knowledge in soft skills. I do understand now. So yes, now let's dive into the soft skills kind of questions. So tell us, ma'am, what are the key soft skills that are required in today's corporate world? As we discussed, there are many parts, as you told, but tell us what is the most important key soft skills that is very much required in this kind of to succeed in this corporate world, ma'am.
Okay, so I feel three very important soft skills. One is your communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal, right? Which includes your talking, your communication, and your body language, your tone, everything. And second is emotional intelligence. And third is stress management. So I feel these three key soft skills are absolutely necessary for any corporate life.
So stress management. So can you please explain any kind of example about stress management? Of course, we get a lot of stress because we have to finish our work within the deadlines provided by the corporate world. But being an experienced candidate, please place yourself in the place of a person who is working very hard, who is going through a lot of stress.
Yes.
How can oneself actually compete with the stress and make sure that we actually can manage the stress at each and every level and we can succeed our job? So tell us about it, ma'am.
So there are generally two kinds of stresses. One is you could be stressed about something that is under your control, and second is you could be stressed about something that is beyond your control. These are basically two reasons why anyone gets stressed. So things which are under your control, if you want to combat that sort of stress, you have to manage your time better. You have to prioritize better. You have to understand what task has to be done when. And for that, you need to spend some time with yourself to realize what tasks, what is urgent, what is important, what is not urgent, what is not important. And based on that priority list, you need to work on it. That is one part of managing stress. The other part of managing stress is if there is something which is beyond your control and it's not under your control, the best way to deal with it is that you have to learn emotional intelligence and empathy. And if you feel even that does not apply, then meditation really helps. Yoga or meditation to combat things which are not under your control, but they stress you out.
Yeah, that's actually a great kind of answer which we got from you, because actually people actually stress on most of the things. Mainly at 90% they stress on things which is beyond control. So they'll be stressing like, even I'm as a basic human, I'll be thinking like, okay, what will happen in that kind of situation? Even that situation will be far ahead in the future. Then we'll be stressing out of it. So I think if we need to make sure that we have the best control of stress management, we can do actually control the stress, which we can actually have a control, which we do have really a great power on it, so that we can actually eliminate some of the things which is under our control, and no need to worry about other kind of stress which is beyond our control. So yeah, that's great, ma'am. So also
one of the biggest
just tell me, please continue, ma'am.
I was saying one of the biggest reason for stress, which we don't even identify, is people not being on time. You'll see a lot of people early in the morning, they're stressed when they're going to work because they're getting late. This is absolutely under your control. And if your day starts like that, when you're very stressed, then there is a chance that the entire day you set the tone for the entire day. Now, even things which are not supposed to stress you might just end up stressing you out. So, mostly our stress triggers come from a place of which we can control. But we don't identify them or we don't call them as a source of stress because we have lack of self awareness.
Yeah, as you told, it's very simple. If you want to have a little bit control of your time, start early in your day. Like wake up early, like not too much like 4 or 3 like Akshay Kumar, the Bollywood actor, does, because he always wakes up early morning like around 4 o'clock, and he does gym, yoga and everything. So for normal person in corporate world, it's better to wake up at 6 or 5:30, have a good morning by just going for some exercise. Then if you do even very simple thing, just 10 minutes before time, I think you can actually save most of the time, and with the help of that you can actually control everything. I do understand, ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, you also told that 1/10 of the soft skill plays a very vital part in communication. So tell us how can one improve this communication and interpersonal skills in this corporate world, ma'am?
So communication, there are two parts to communication. One would be verbal and the other would be non-verbal. Now, in verbal communication, it depends what is it that you're looking to improve. Are you looking to improve your English because you think in your mother tongue, but you have to communicate in English? Is that becoming a problem? Or you struggle in structuring your thoughts itself? So if your thought process is not clear, then you will struggle when it comes to communicating, right? These are the two basic reasons why people struggle to communicate. Then, if we talk about non-verbal communication, then you have to learn how to manage yourself in stressful conditions. That is where you realize what your body language is and how good you are under control when it comes to non-verbal communication. So you have to decide how do you want to carry yourself. If you feel that you want to improve your English and you feel English is one of the reasons why you are not able to communicate better, you'll have to work on your English. If you feel that you're not able to structure your thoughts better, then probably you need a lot of introspection and retrospection into understanding who you are. This self awareness will help you structure your thoughts better and have better communications. And thereby, it will improve your interpersonal skills as well.
Yeah.
Self awareness is the key for it.
Yeah, I do understand that if one needs to actually have a control within oneself, one needs to first analyze who they are. So only when they are self-aware of
Yes.
who they are, they'll be able to understand each and everything. They'll be able to
Correct.
understand the gap between each and everything where they're actually kind of lagging in something, and they'll be able to fill up that gap. And making a
Correct.
structural kind of practice of communication will actually help them. And also speaking about interpersonal skills. So tell us what is the basic meaning of interpersonal skills, and also tell us how can even a student can actually make sure that they have very well interpersonal skills, ma'am.
Interpersonal skills boils down to your interaction with people and who you are as a person. So if you are focusing on basic virtues like empathy, kindness, or respecting other people's time, basic virtues, if you will focus on, by default, your interpersonal skills would improve. You don't have to actively do anything else. You just have to be a nice person and work on your virtues and improve your vices. So that's all that you have to do to have good
So it's
interpersonal skills.
basically, yeah, it's basically a interaction, the communication when we talk with our friends, with the persons whom we know. So
Yes.
that's the basic part which we can do by just making sure that we're skilled in interpersonal skills. I do understand. So also tell us, ma'am, what are
And
some.
even the dialogue you have with yourself, it's also a dialogue that you have with yourself. Your interpersonal skills reflect what you think about yourself.
Yeah.
How self aware are you?
Yeah, of course. Also from another Bollywood actor, Shah Rukh, whenever he gets up in the morning, he sits in front
Mhm.
of the mirror or stands in front of the mirror, and he tells that I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best.
And
Because, yeah,
yes.
because only then we'll be able to kind of make sure that whoever they may be competitor in the world, actually we can succeed. Because only when we have some kind of interaction within ourselves, we'll be having some kind of things worked out. So I think that's the birth of
Yes.
self-awareness, which we are talking about during the part in
Correct.
communication. Yeah, that's great, ma'am. So
Yes.
we were also talking about the stress management part. So tell us, ma'am, what are some effective ways to manage stress and build resilience? Of course, you told that stress comes between two parts: what we can control, what we cannot control. So other than that, tell us some tips by which one can actually build the resilience in their life, ma'am.
Okay, so resilience is very, very personal. If you are motivated in life, you'll always be resilient. You have to understand what motivates you. This is again like a long session on what motivates an individual. Your motivation could be intrinsic, it could be extrinsic. You could be doing something because it makes you happy, or you could be doing something because you're seeking for validation, right? If you are motivated and you found your motivation and your passion, you'll always be resilient. You will not be resilient even if you are for example, if you're working in a corporate setup and you are a software engineer, but you feel that coding is not your calling in life. Everything could be going fine, you could be very consistent in your life, you could be doing everything that's needed and still not being successful. Chances to that is that you don't need resilience, you need appropriate motivation. If you found appropriate motivation, you'll be by default resilient.
Of course, motivation is the basic part of life. If we do not have any kind of things which really motivates each and every day of our life, then we'll be like bored to go for work. Each and every Monday will be like a great headache for us, because when we just move to the kind of happy parts, we'll be thinking like, okay, happy moments is something like where we get our free time, where we can do whatever we like. But people are actually forgetting that even work comes under the circle of doing whatever we wish for. And once when one have a self awareness, one able to kind of analyze who they are, one when one's able to analyze the interest which sparks the motivation to do something in their life, then only each and every Monday will feel like, okay, next day is Monday, I'm going to office, then that's a kind of happy moment for me. So now I understand that each and every motivation which actually sparks some kind of good things in our life will actually helps us to stand against resilience. That's great, ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, how can one develop the
Yes.
leadership skills and become a more confident public speaker? Because when it comes to technical part, most of the people will be very strong, but when it comes to leadership skills, it's something like concern in a corporate world. When it comes to a team leader, when it comes to a manager part, what the thing they will be doing is they'll be kind of getting work from the people, from the subordinates, but they'll be lacking in some kind of leadership, because a leader is something like you actually accept the kind of defeat, and you actually do not. There's a famous saying from Abdul Kalam. He's a very famous person. He's a very skilled and knowledgeable person, respected person in India. And during various missions, he used to say that if any failure happens, then it is because of me. And if any success is going to happen, then I just contribute the success to my team. So that's how the leadership skills should be. So tell us, ma'am, how can one build this leadership skills? And also tell us how this leadership skills can actually build the confidence with the members, with the subordinates in the team, ma'am.
Okay, so firstly, one important thing that you have to understand is that leadership skills are not necessary only when you are at the top. Even at the bottom, even if you're part of the team, you still need to have leadership skills. It's not necessary that only the CEO or the VP they need to have leadership skills. Even a new college graduate who's just entered the MNC, that person should also have leadership skills. How can you have or how can you develop leadership skills is that you have to first take accountability and responsibility for everything in your life, and you have to make effort and take initiatives. If you feel there is something that's not being done, is your attitude no one's doing it, why should I do it? Or is your attitude no one's doing it, I should do it? The moment you start that, okay, fine, if no one's doing it, I'm going to do it, you have started understanding what does it mean to be a leader and develop your leadership skills as well. That's where it starts.
Yeah, that's actually a
Taking
great.
initiative.
Yeah, that's actually great, ma'am, because it's not only starts with the people who have did their college days. It starts with the basic human being. It may be the leadership skills can be carried by even the student, even kids. So starting from our
Yes,
childhood, we will be thinking like,
very
yes, yeah, starting from a childhood, we'll be thinking like, okay, if this work is not done by them, then we should not do. Then if this work is not done by anybody, then why should do? So it's something like which we actually do from a very early age, but that's not the thing we should actually do. If something is happening around us, we should take the accountability. We should take the responsibility. That's where the leadership skills are born. So once these leadership skills are
Yes,
born, then everything comes into place, because once one take the accountability, the responsibility, then if anything is lagging, consider if anything work is lagging in our own home. So if we have the responsibility, we will be kind of making sure that each and every work is done. So I think that's the
correct.
very what the answer told by you is really very right, up to the point. The accountability and the responsibility is
Yes.
the basic qualifications for becoming a great leader. So tell us, ma'am, how can one build the confidence when come to public speaking? Because public speaking is something like whenever you get in front of everyone, maybe in the stage or maybe in the public place, most of the persons will be having some kind of issues with the self kind of things, that they'll be lagging, like they'll be having some kind of hesitation. They'll be they be even rehearsing the part each and every time, but when it comes to eye contact, seeing many people, then it will be like switched off, like you're switching off the light. So tell us, how can one build the kind of confidence when it comes to public speaking skills, man?
So for public speaking, again, you have to identify what do you mean by public speaking, right? One is, are you addressing people? Are you addressing an audience? And do you have stage fear? That is your public speaking, right? And then public speaking could also be as small as if you are going for a networking event and you've reached there. Now you want to reach out to a group of people and have a conversation with them and introduce yourself. So you could be a startup founder and you want to go and have a conversation with a lot of venture capitalists. If you want to have that conversation, you could again be shy. This also goes down to, are you shy because you are thinking in your mother tongue, but you know you have to speak in a different language? Are you worried about the language? Are you worried about you not being able to construct sentences? That could be one of the reasons. The other reasons could be that you are not very comfortable with human interaction. So, a lot of introverts have that problem. That is the reason. And then there are people who say that I can talk very comfortably when it comes to speaking in Hindi, but when it comes to English, I'm not able to talk. I'm not even able to have one on one conversations. You have to do a root cause analysis. There has to be an RCA which happens. So I do this cause analysis. I try to understand what is the reason. Why are you scared when it comes to public speaking? And what kind of public speaking are you scared of? Sometimes people are not confident because the way they dressed up, when they see their reflections in the mirror, they don't feel confident about how they look, right? So there are a lot of reasons why this happens. For that, you have to do, it is context dependent and individual
Okay.
based.
Great, great. That's a great information from you regarding public speaking skills. Also, at the same time, you are basically an image consultant. So, image consultant is something like
Yeah.
very new to the society. That kind of career most of the people are not even aware of. So, tell us, ma'am, what do you mean by an image consultant, and what is the primary responsibility of being an image consultant, ma'am?
Mhm. Okay, so a primary responsibility of an image consultant is basically to make you feel comfortable in your own skin when you're operating in your day to day life. Okay, we help you identify what are your personal colors, what is your personal style, how should you dress up to feel your best, how can you look your best, and how can you feel your best. And once you've realized that, once you've developed your personal style, now you identify what is it that you want to communicate through your image. What kind of an image do you want to build? Do you want to build a friendly image? Do you want to build an authoritative image? Do you want to stand out? Do you want to mingle in? Depends on what are your personal needs as an individual. How can you fill your personal needs by dressing yourself a certain way so you're able to reflect who you are as a person? So it's an entire process where you understand what the person is, what are his or her daily needs, what the person is comfortable in, and what the person is willing to reflect.
So,
That's image consulting.
yeah, I do understand that image consultant is something basically like you work the best for you. It's not like making an image copying from a person who is the best. It's like doing the best, getting the best out of you. It's like analyzing who you are, what you can do, what image fits you, and if you want to kind of do any job with the help of the image, like as you told, if you want to
Yeah.
have some kind of authority kind of image, then what kind of dress
Yes.
suits you, what kind of communication part suits you, and analyzing each and every color of your dress, each and every kind of things. There is a vast sea. Image consultant is like a vast sea, and it's like basically making sure you look the best at what you are the best. So I do understand that. So
Correct.
before, yeah, that's I understand.
Yes.
So also tell us, ma'am. So being an image consultant, how can one create a personal brand that reflects one's professional goals? Because as you said that you find the right color, the right kind of mode, and each and
Yes.
everything. So also tell us in detail, how can one create a
Mhm.
personal brand? Because in today's world everything is a brand. Because if you go and buy even a small product, and if you have two products, one is a non-brand and one is a brand, then you will be going for a branded one. Because each and every product which comes under a brand, it will create some kind of reputation, and also the same time a trust. The trust is the basic thing which helps people to buy the products. So even consider a very small product. That product will be having a brand with the help of which it will be having some kind of reputation. So consider humans. Humans are the most intelligent living beings in the world. So each and every person should be having their own personal brand which they should develop in order to make sure that they have success in each and every part in their life. So tell us, how can one create a personal brand that will reflect our professional goals, ma'am?
If you want to create a personal brand, I would definitely advise you to hire an image consultant. Reason being that there is no one fits all. Okay. Now, if there is, you've seen Steve Jobs, he's also very successful. He was very successful, right? You've seen Mark Zuckerberg. These people are in the corporate industry. Then you have seen Shah Rukh Khan, or you've seen Alia Bhatt. Or you've seen so many designers like Manish Malhotra. They are in creative industries, right? Based on what are your professional goals, your your uh, your selling point, who you are as a person, and your image has to be in line with that, right? So what do you require, how do you require to present yourself? Now imagine if you are a creative person, but you've been given the responsibility of managing Apple. What will you do, right? Or you are someone who's very logical, and suddenly there is an opportunity wherein so there are a lot of boys and girls who are doing their studies, their education, their engineering, and they're picked up as models or actors. Now all they know is 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Now suddenly they're in a creative field. They have to reflect their identity and personality as a creative person. So whenever you're building your personal brand, you have to first ensure, where are you going to reflect this brand? How are you going to build this brand, and what are your consumers? Who are your consumers? Who is your audience? Right? Only once you've identified who's your audience, one, and second, who you are as a person internally. Because if you're trying to copy someone else's style, which is not your style, it's absolutely okay to live up to a persona and relate it to a celebrity and feel that this is the persona that I relate with the most. But if from heart you are a Steve Jobs, but you want to project an Alia Bhatt, that's not possible, right? So you'll have to find a middle ground. That's how you can build your own personal identity and identification. It is always context specific, and again it depends on individual self awareness. It's not one shoe fits all.
Yeah, that the last part which you said, one shoe doesn't fit all. Each and every person in this world have unique image, and if one want to kind of bring the full potential of their unique image, then they should have a personal
Yes.
image consultant who will actually help them to bring the best image out from them. I do understand now.
So I'm talking about, when you are saying that what kind of brand do you build for yourself, it is very personal to you and it depends on your personal goals in life. It's not one shoe fits all. You have to bring in that self-awareness. And if so the reason why I say an image consultant is because even if you hire an image consultant for one day and just go out, don't do an online session with that person, go out and take that person to a mall. Now, spend that time with that person in the mall for a day, and you will be able to identify so many things that now you would know how to represent yourself. That would definitely aid you. You don't have to have a personal assistant or or an image consultant throughout your life. It's a one-time task. If you do it, you are happy, you're okay with it. Now you will learn how to build your image yourself. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, that's great. So also tell us, ma'am, what are some tips for dressing professionally and making a good impression? Because when it comes to a candidate who is going to represent himself in front of a person who is an HR for a great reputed corporate company, they'll be expecting some kind of basics, kind of things. They'll be expecting some kind of basic dressing sense. And also at the same time, it's like the formal dress which each and every people like, maybe it may be for men or maybe it may be for a women. There may be formal dresses which is as a basic for each and everyone when they appear in front of an interview or when they appear in front of any kind of conference or anything, something like that. So tell us, what is the best suit for men and what is the best suit for women to make oneself sure that they are in the best professional attire in front of every professional, not only in the corporate world but also in the normal world. So tell us about it, ma'am.
Yes, so I think for this, I have particularly for interviews, I have created like a 1 hour video which helps you in identifying how to appear for your interviews from start to end. It includes how you should dress up, what you should wear, and how can you prepare for your interview. So that's, I think, is just available for 99 rupees, and you can follow me on Instagram. You can send it, you can pay the amount, and then you can, I'll give you the link to it. But that's like again a long conversation. A basic thing that I can tell you is if you have to dress up at any point, again, I'll go to the same thing. You have to identify your image consultant. You have to see what kind of makeup for women, what kind of hairstyle suits you, what kind of makeup suits you. Again, for men, what hairstyle, what kind of beard you should carry. And then based on your body shape and your body type, your skin color, your hair color, your skin texture, you have to decide what you should wear so you can put across your best, right? One very easy way to break this is if you're not willing to spend right now on an image consultant, you can wear a simple white shirt and a black pant or a pencil skirt, which is knee length. For both men and women, men can wear black pants, even women can wear black pants, and women can also wear black pencil skirt. But the only one shortfall of this is that you will be one of many in this case. Whereas if you are someone who can maybe say carry a burgundy blazer, or you can carry a yellow blazer, or you can carry a pink blazer, your personal colors are like that, your skin tone is like that, then you would have that chance to stand out and create a stronger impression. But if you are not sure, if you've not carried yourself in that look ever in the past, then don't do that. Safe bet is black and white collared shirt. If the weather permits, put on a black blazer. That's like a go-to. You can never go wrong with it. But then again, you will not stand out. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I do understand that you have also curated a 1 hour video for professionals for both men and women, in which they can understand what dress which will suit them, what kind of hairstyle, what kind of beard for men, and the dressing sense for women. That's actually great because you are actually helping the society by just making sure that that video will be helping them in their day-to-day professional's life. That's great, ma'am. And also, I'll mention the
That video is that That video is just for your interview preparation. Like you were talking that if a candidate has to represent him or herself in front of an HR, right? So for that is that dress up or how you should look, how your hair should be. That's just like that's just a 10 minutes video. It's part of the entire interview training video that I've created. So in that, just for your interview setup, how should you research? What should be your resume? In detail of how a candidate to look well informed in front of an HR when you're going and meeting that person. In that 1 hour, how can you create a very powerful impression from how should you research about the company to job description to how the ecosystem is built up, just for that one thing. If you want for a professional setup, that is something because when you're talking about any individual to create a impactful persona, I have to do one-on-one counseling. I cannot, again, it's not one fits all, right? There are people who are taller, there are people who are shorter, there are people who are heavier, there are people who are skinnier, there are people who are comfortable in heels, there are people who are only comfortable in flats. Then people have personal colors, they only prefer pink, some only prefer blue. If I dress up someone who only likes to wear pink and now I dress this person up in blue, this person will not be comfortable when he or she looks at himself in a reflection of any window or mirror. The moment you see yourself not looking like yourself, there is a very high probability you might not feel confident in your skin. So that's a one-on-one session again. How can you feel confident in your own skin? What is the best way to do your hair, your skin, your makeup, and your clothes?
So basically, you're conducting both offline and online kind of sessions. So if it's like online,
Correct.
they can just purchase your video
Yes.
for that 1 hour video. Just you're just making sure that it can be available for just 99 rupees, and that 1 hour entire video will help professionals in their day-to-day life. That
Interview
interviews.
interview skills. That 1 hour is just for interview skills. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Only interview.
So that one
Yeah,
hour
yeah.
particular video basically focus
Mhm.
on professionals who wants to have the best look for both men and women whenever they're appearing for interviews. And you're making
Not the best look. I'm saying overall persona. So when you talk about your image, right? You're asking me that what kind. how to build your brand, right? Now, if you have to build your brand, it is not limited to how you look. It is also limited to how you carry yourself, how you shake hands with the person, what kind of an eye contact do you make, how self aware are you, and how aware are you about the job and the company that you're applying for. All of that is a part of who you are as a person and building your public image. Only your dressing is one part of it, because whenever you go and interview any, if at any point someone goes and interviews, they judge you in the first 30 seconds to 1 minute. In this first 30 seconds to 1 minute, they've decided whether they want to hire you or not, right? Now what happens after this is the next interview is based on what they've thought about you in the first 1 minute. So that first 1 minute, again, it depends on how you dress up. Safe way is white shirt, white and black. But if you want to understand how you can stand out the best, then you have to have a one-on-one consulting. The video is just about how to appear for an interview, so that, and this is like, and this 99 rupees video is a 100% guarantee that you would definitely see a change in your interviews. The very simple things, very applicable things, whether you're unsure about your spoken English, or you're unsure about how you look, or you're not sure how to prepare, or things to do on the day of interview. There are 5 short videos, prerequisites, things to do, preparation, how to use AI for your interview. And again, I think the last one, you have the entire full video also, and the last one is your spoken English. All of that put together would help you present yourself as a brand in front of your HR interviewer. That is what this is about. That's part of your image consulting and not all of it.
Yeah, that's a very vast knowledge which we can get via that 1 hour video. I will make sure that people will
Yes.
see that video. I'll just post the link in the YouTube description so that people who wants to see it can have a look at it. Because as you said, once the people have taken a look at the 1 hour interview, 1 hour video, they'll be having some kind of differences in their afterlife. Like they'll be having a lot of outputs which will actually bring the best out from them. I do kind of agree with your things, ma'am. And also tell us, ma'am, how can one improve one's body language and non-verbal communication? So first we'll talk about the body language. Body language is something like it deals with the person's mood. And even if you're not speaking, consider in acting profession, the body language plays a very vital part. Maybe for a hero, it may be for a comedian, it may be for any kind of other people who just comes and goes for a simple role. The body language plays a very vital part. How they behave. It's more about, more than the communication, more than the words that they come out from the mouth. People always are amazed. People will always have some kind of desire to see a person who's having a good body language, because once a person is able to kind of communicate and at the same time the body also kind of cooperates with them by making the right gestures, it will make feel that, okay, that person is our friend. It will be appealing for the audience. So in the same way, when it comes to a corporate world, when it comes to a person who is going in front of the society, the body language plays a vital role. And especially for the introvert people will be like, if people who are considering themselves as introverts, they'll be finding difficult to bring out the body language. So to those people who feel it very difficult to establish their body language, what is the best tip that you would tell to bring the best potential, the best body language out from them, ma'am?
Positive thoughts. If you have positive thoughts, it'll reflect on your face and you'll always look pleasant and charming. Other small things that you can do is you have to make sure that your spine is always erect. It's absolutely straight. Your posture has to be straight. You have to, whether you're sitting or you're standing, your spine has to be erect. Then it comes to your eye contact. You shouldn't be staring. You should very subtly, continuously maintain an eye contact when you're talking to someone, and always have a pleasant expression. That does not mean that you have to smile a lot, but have a pleasant expression. And the finesse with which you operate when you're walking, when you're talking, your movements, don't make them very harsh, make them soft. Your movements in general, don't make them very sudden, make them soft. So whenever you are watching a video, and if you fast forward it, it does not impact well on your eyes, right? It's a little, there's a slight discomfort. But whereas when you're watching a video on a normal speed and you see it, it is very comforting to the eyes. Similarly, if your actions have a lot of poise in it, you're not making any vigorous movements, and you're always maintaining your posture and an eye contact and a pleasant face expression, you'll be good. Your body language will be fine.
Okay, that's a great thing. Even in the beginning of the conversation, you told a very simple thing: positive thoughts. Only when you have positive
Yes.
thoughts, you will not be afraid of anything.
Yes.
And also at the same time, if you have positive thoughts, you will be having some kind of confidence. Once you have enough confidence, you will be able to bring out the best out of you, and you don't need to worry about anything. I think that's very enough to do self good body language. I do understand that. So now moving on to the non-verbal
Yeah.
communication. Non-verbal communication, I think whenever you go for an interview, there are most parts where
Mm.
your work mostly concentrates on the non-verbal part, where you do not want to go and kind of have any kind of great business speech with different professionals. Instead, you can go for a non-verbal communication by just texting the mail to them, making sure that the mail is designed in such a way it will be appealing to the people who has received the email. So that's a very small example for normal verbal communication. So tell us, how can one be skilled in this non-verbal communication, ma'am?
Okay, so non-verbal communication in soft skill terms, just in purely in soft skill terms, non-verbal communication does not mean your electronic communications. Okay, it basically means your pitch, the speed at which you speak, the shrillness of your voice, and how your enunciation. Okay, your tone. All right, these are all. If I take away words from it, and so when you hear someone talking, and if they're not speaking in your language, or you're speaking in a, so if you hear someone speaking in French, right, or in Russian, some people would be pleasing, some people wouldn't be, not very, they'll not be very pleasing, even if you don't understand their language. That's non-verbal communication. Okay, your tone, your pitch, the rate at which you talk, the shrillness of your voice, all these are parts of your non-verbal communication. Even your body language is part of your communication, your hand gestures, your face movements, your head movement, all of this is non-verbal communication. I think what you are asking is, you're talking about an online conversation in which you're not speaking to each other. So if you have to text someone, or if you have to send across an email, and you have to improve your written communication, then it does not matter how long a text you are sending. Make sure you're communicating exactly what you have to, because now you don't have your tone or your body to communicate. A lot of time there is a lot of miscommunication. Sometimes a person is joking and you end up sending something jokingly, whereas the other person assumes that this person is being sarcastic with me, right? So if you have an online conversation, which is a text or an email, keep it to the point and ensure that you limit it exactly to what you're trying to communicate. Don't add sarcasm to it, don't make it funny. Now it's become easier because you have emojis, so you're able to at least communicate the essence of the tone of the email, whether it's funny or it's sarcastic or it's rude or it's mean, based on the smileys that you share, right? But if you're not sharing any smiley, then the other person has zero context. He cannot see your body language, he or she cannot see your tone. So for electronic conversations, be very to the point, but explain in detail. Don't add anything else that you don't wish to communicate. Best thing is, for any important conversation, please get on a call. Even best, have a face to face communication. Maybe get on a Zoom call or meet the person, so you know the tone. Even when you want, for any important business meeting, make sure that you meet the person face to face. So there are a lot of cues that the other person will give you through their body language, through how they're managing themselves, how they're conducting themselves. Always prefer face to face communication. If you can't, then make your online communications very clear and straightforward to avoid any miscommunication.
Yeah, that's really a great knowledge which we got from via this interview, that even non-verbal communication plays the very vital part, because as you said, when it comes to face-to-face communication, consider we are not from the same country, and we are from one country, and the person in front of us is from a different country, maybe American, maybe British, maybe Russian. they'll be having each and every people when they speak, they have a different pitch, a different tone, a different kind of body language. All this plays a very vital part. Of course, as a Russian, as a British, as an American, as Japanese, as Chinese, or any person in any part of the world, when they are speaking to us, we don't mostly kind of think of the tone. We just try to analyze what they are speaking because they are from a different country. Our subconscious mind are able to kind of predict that, okay, they are trying to speak something and we should try to understand what they are actually talking. But when it comes to a person who is from your very own country, when they are speaking something, our subconscious mind mostly concentrates on the way they speak, the tone, the pitch. And at that point of time, if you're making a sarcastic kind of comment, but the thing is that you're not making it consciously. So you're making it in some, but it may be from a flow. It may be because of your previous experiences where you have practiced with your friends or anyone, something like that. It will be repeated in the same manner. And when it comes to the corporate world or when it comes to a professional world, it will lead to a kind of things where business will not go good because of the way we communicate. So also at the same time, when it comes to a non-face-to-face communication via email, one has to make sure that whatever you wanted to communicate, just make sure that is only present in the mail that you send. Others never ever kind of make even a dot in it, because even a small kind of kind of placement of words can actually lead you in a business proposal which can be let down. So it's better to make some kind of words structured in a manner that, in a very simple manner, what you need to communicate, just make sure it is only placed. And other social medias where you can use emojis, other than that, you do not place an attempt that you want to do something which is kind of not related to the thing which you wanted to communicate in mail. I do understand that now. So other question which I wanted to ask in this kind of image consultant field is, what are some effective ways to build confidence and self-esteem? Self-esteem is something like a respect which we have within oneself. It may be for men or women. Self-esteem is very great, and it is the vital part which each and every human being should basically need in their life. Only when one has self-respect towards others, only one has self-respect towards themselves, then they will be like something who they are very well necessary for the society, and it will also stay as a motivation to do their daily works. So tell us how one can build some confidence and self-esteem in their professional corporate world, mom.
Okay, so self-esteem is your ladder towards confidence. Okay, if you want to build self-esteem, you need self-awareness. Why do you need self-awareness? Because only when you're very decisive and sure and you understand who you are, can you build self-esteem. You know what you know, and you also know what you don't know. Once you have that surety, that's when you will build your self-esteem. You have to do a lot of introspection, you have to do a lot of retrospection, you have to understand yourself. Once you've done enough introspection and retrospection, you should be able to identify what are your strengths and weaknesses. How are you using strengths in your favor? And how are you ensuring that you are improving on your weaknesses? If you know every day you have done a little bit to make yourself better today than yesterday, then your self-esteem would definitely go up. It could be in any context, whether a lot of time people are not happy with their bodies and they feel that, no, I think I should be fitter than who I am today, or my health conditions are not up to the mark. Even if you're making slight progress every day, you would feel good about yourself, irrespective of how everyone looks at you. And how you feel about yourself is how everyone looks at you. It does not matter how you look. It's about how you feel about yourself. If you feel good about yourself, you'll feel good about yourself. If you're working on yourself, if you'll be able to work on yourself if you have self-awareness or what are your strengths and weaknesses. So start from introspection, retrospection, get some self-awareness and work on yourself. You'll be able to build your self-esteem and you'll have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I actually now understand that confidence actually starts from the self-esteem part. That's a kind of seed. Whenever you put yourself a self-esteem as a seed within yourself, you will be able to cultivate the confidence which you actually need in your daily life. That's a simple thing. So now we are totally moving to a different field, career development. So tell us, ma'am, how
Correct.
can one set
Hmm.
career goals and create a plan to achieve them? As we said in the beginning of the interview, if we have
Mhm.
to achieve something, then we have to self-aware of who we really are. So tell us, how
Yes.
can one find the career goals? And once they find
Okay.
what is the actual career goal, how can one create a
Mhm.
plan to achieve them? Because there are a lot of strategies considered before a
Mhm.
1,000 years. If we are going for a
Yes.
war, each and every war between two different cities or between two different states or countries or continents, they
Mhm.
should have some kind of strategy in order to win the war. So, in the same way, if we
Okay.
have to achieve whatever goals we have actually set for ourselves in our life, we should have some kind of
Mhm.
plans to achieve them. So, tell us, what is the plan which one can create
Mhm.
for oneself in order to achieve the career goals, ma'am?
Okay, so if you want to achieve your goals, this is again a 4 hour session. Identifying your goals and how can you make that path. Okay, it's a 4 hour session that I do with people to help them realize what their goals are and how to achieve it. I'll give you a gist of it. The gist of it is that you have to first help yourself create a vision. You have to have a vision of where will you be 10 years from today. You have to imagine exactly what do you want to be doing, where do you want to be. So for example, if I say that 10 years from today I want to be taking online soft skill sessions and I want to be publishing and writing books at some tropical island and chilling there and spending time in healthy and fresh air. Okay, and I am feeling healthier and fitter. Okay, if that is my vision, now this vision can only become a mission if I have set of ways to accomplish it, right? I cannot just have a vision and hope that okay fine, once I'm 33 today and by the time I turn 43 I'll have it. That's not going to happen, right? I need to have a plan to achieve it. Now, for that, I will have my long term goals. My long term goals would again be subcategorized into my social goals, my personal goals, my financial goals, my career goals. Now, I will do my SWOT analysis to understand what strengths do I have to achieve these various goals? What are my weaknesses which would limit me from achieving these goals? What opportunities do I have to achieve these goals? And what are my threats when it comes to achieving these goals? All different goals. After that, I will have my once I've created this based on my SWOT analysis, I will create my short term goals, which would again be in line with my long term goals, right? Long term goals would be say 10 years from today, short term goals would be say 5 years from today, right? Then, after creating my short term goals, now I will have my even shorter goals, which would be from 1 year or 2 years from today. Again, I'll do another set of SWOT analysis to identify how can I achieve my 5 year goals. Once I know where do I need to be 2 years from today in every aspect, social aspect, personal aspect, professional aspect, financial aspect, now I can create my actionables. These actionables will become my immediate goals. So for example, if I say that I want to be I'm already a published author, I've written one book, but if I say 10 years from today I should have published at least 5 books, right? I have to start working on my second book today to ensure that in 2 years I have been able to publish that book, right? Now, after creating the entire journey of what my life looks like 10 years from today, I will know what my actionable is in the next minute. Only once I have my actionable for my next minute to achieve my vision, my dream, am I leading the life in the only then am I leading the life in the right direction. So that's how we do a lot of goal setting and identifying your vision.
Yeah, that's once again a very great elaborate answer. At that 4 hour lengthy session, you mean that you also curated a 4 hour lengthy video for this kind of things, ma'am?
No, this is I generally do this session with people because this goal setting is very very important for your interviews again. Because in your interviews you have to justify that where does working for this particular firm land or fit in when it comes to you achieving your goals in life, right? So this is like a prerequisite that I do with people who are so I've done close to I think I've done more than 100 one-on-one interview training sessions. So in these training sessions, before I do this one-on-one training session, I help everybody build a goal first, because when you are building your goals, that is where you will, it's a process of self awareness again. What do you like, what are your dislikes, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your opportunities, what are your threats, how do you perceive yourself, what kind of a life you want, right? So I do this 4 hour session either one on one or in a class, but I've not created a video for this because this is a step by step process and people generally have questions for this. So I take this session either online or offline. It depends on that. If there are more than 5 people, it takes 4 hours. If there is one person, it takes 2 hours. I can do it in 2 hours. But generally, this is like a classroom activity. So I do it in 4 hours. If there are more people, then 4 to 8 hours. Depends.
Great, ma'am. So
Because there's a lot of,
yes,
go
sir.
ahead. There's a lot of peer to peer learning when you are identifying your goals. Sometimes someone sitting next to you can help you identify your goal. Only I can't tell them. So I prefer doing this in a classroom. But if you want a one on one session, I can do that as well.
So great. You're also concentrating on the offline classes. So if you one wants to have an offline session with you, so do you have any kind of
Yes.
place you do directly invite people and help them by just kind of finding out the career goals, kind of making plans to achieve the career goals? So tell us, is it you go for a faculty, I mean, you go for any specific place and you go teach, or you just have a specific place where you invite members and teach, ma'am?
I go to various places and teach. I would go to, like, generally, I do it at different institutes, like coaching institutes, people who are preparing for CAT, people who are preparing for IIT, GMAT, GRE. So, for these people who have done their engineering and now they want to get a job. I think last year engineering students need this the most. Then people who are about to step into their B schools, they're interviewing for their B schools. That's where I take these sessions. If you want a one-on-one offline sessions, I can. It's not. I don't have an office because I'm a freelancer, so we can always book a co-working space and we can do that session there. Otherwise, an online session, if it's one-on-one online session in the comforts of your home, is also perfectly fine. I don't want anyone to invest extra time in traffic. That is another thing. It's best to sit at home in your comfort zone. You learn the best when you're in your comfort zone. So that's what I prefer personally.
Great, great, ma'am. So you have already gone to different facilities where you actually train the students in this topic, and
Yes.
you're concentrating only on your city. Your basic city is Chandigarh, so you're concentrating only on your city, or you're also planning to travel to different cities for various colleges, various institutes, and you're planning to teach kids, I mean, students over there. So tell us about your future ventures, ma'am.
Future ventures that I'm planning is, as of now, I am open to expansion. I am willing to take up classes, take up sessions wherever they are. Again, it depends on what is the monetary impact of it. If it makes business sense for me, I'm willing to do it. But my current vision is that in this Tri-City area, there are a lot of engineering colleges and there are a lot of universities. So for now, once I have reached out to everyone, I want to start training engineering students or last year students who are about to step into the corporate life. That's what my one vision is. The other vision is I want to train the corporate people, or especially people who are starting their career again. A lot of people have a career break, a lot of people stopped working after COVID. For all these people who want to start working again, that's another place where I want to create this impact. And the third place is people who are already in their professional lives, but they feel underconfident and they feel that they need to build their personalities. For those people, it's basically these three criteria. This is my vision. This is what I'm targeting on right now.
Great, great, ma'am. So
And
you are
parallelly, I want to make sure, I want to, like, basic necessities like interview training. Education is not enough. You need to be very good in your interviews. So basic necessities like interview training, generally I charge close to 1,000 or 2,000 for an hour. And but I wanted to make sure that at least this interview is available for any and everyone at an affordable price. is why I created one particular video, and now anyone can buy it for 99. 1,000, 2,000, everyone's not willing to spend. Even if you're spending lakhs on your education, sometimes you have a hesitation because there are a lot of videos which are available on YouTube or on Instagram on tips and tricks of how to crack your interview, right? And they're available for free. So I wanted to curate all of that in one place, ensure that if you follow this method, you would, at least I believe, 99% of the times you'll be able to crack your next interview. So that is why, and it is easily accessible to everyone. That was my first vision. I have done a lot of interview trainings. Now it helps me save my time also, because I can reach, say, 1,000 people through this one particular video, whereas I'll have to give in 1,000 to 2,000 hours to reach these people, right? If I have to, and I don't want to, like that, I don't have that kind of bandwidth right now to only train people for interviews, right? So that's the reason.
So ultimately, you're helping students in manner that they can achieve their dream jobs by just successfully cracking the interviews, face-to-face interviews. I actually appreciate that,
Correct.
ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, there are different strategies for networking and building professional relationships. Of course, even after getting into a job,
Correct.
even after getting a successful business, if you want to make sure that we
Mhm.
achieve the next levels, if you want to go to the top, and if we have to
Mhm.
prevail in the top by making sure that we establish our kind of work over here, we stay over the top. It's kind of difficult to reach the top, and if one finds a way to reach the top, then the second thing
Mhm.
is how far you remain in the top. So for that kind of people, we actually need to have one simple strategy by just making sure we have an enough network of people so that it will make sure that we always stay at the top. So tell us some strategies for networking, because networking in this world, especially in this technological, it's very, very important, because without a proper network, even if you have a very wide knowledge, you can't actually kind of, not only for your job, but mainly for your business, you can't kind of establish your business in various parts of India or various countries in the world. It's very necessary to have a proper networking. And also at the same time, you need to have a very professional, good relationship with the persons whom you are dealing with. So that's the very vital part. Even if you have a proper network and if you're not having kind of enough professional relationship with the other persons, then that will be a lag in your business or your job you're doing. So tell us two strategies, or tell us a simple strategy by which one can actually create networking kind of things, and also at the same time, after networking, how can one actually build some kind of professional relationships. So tell us all about it now.
All right. So I think there are two simple ways to do this. One is that you have to improve your listening skills. All right. Once you improve your listening skills in any conversation, in the first half of the conversation, ensure that you're only listening. Let the other person talk. Let the other person tell you what is it that the other person is into, what is it that they're looking for, how is it, and what's going on. First step is your listening skills. Second is, how do you sell yourself? Which is, what kind of a value add can you bring into their life? All right. Now, you as a person, you could have, so when you've seen a salesperson, would generally be selling a product, and that person would be talking about features, advantages, and benefits. No one has time to listen to you, right? If you have to ensure that you want a successful network out of the conversations that you're having, first listen to what are those person's requirements, what that person is doing in life. Find in that conversation, have the smartness to identify where can you add value. Now, don't tell all of your features and advantages, that I'm an engineer or I'm an MBA or I'm an author. You found out, okay, the other person is, say, a university teacher, right? And this person feels that they are doing what best they can to teach their students, but they're not able to build their personality development. Does it make sense for me to have a conversation wherein I tell all my features? I tell them that, okay, fine, I've written a book and I am an engineer, I'm an MBA, and I'm also a soft skill trainer. I can just tell them that, okay, I can help you out when it comes to training your students for an interview, right? So listen, try to understand what is it that where is it that you can create value, then identify in all the skills that you have what benefits can you provide to that person. Once the other person feels that you will be useful to him or her in any capacity, and you will be able to create value and make his or life easier or better, the other person would be willing to establish that relationship with you. Very simple skills.
Great, great one. So it's very simple that if one proves the value, then the other person can have them in the way they want. It will actually create success for both the parties. I think that's a very
Yes.
simple strategy by which we can actually have a good networking, and at the same time we can establish the professional relationships even with a business and when it comes to a corporate world job. That's great, ma'am. So, yes, tell me, ma'am. So, in the interview part, the most vital part is negotiating salary. So, when it comes to negotiating salary, consider even for freshers, most of the companies they do ask negotiating salaries because some corporate companies they do have a regular standard salary, but when it comes to an experienced person, they'll be asking like what kind of salary, what hike person do you need, and also at the same time tell us how can one prepare for this kind of jobs interviews and negotiate salaries effectively, ma'am.
Okay. So my one advice would be never ever negotiate your salary during your interview. All right. Wait for the HR to get back to you and tell you that you've gotten the job. During your interview, you make sure you sound like someone who wants to get this job. Like getting this job would make that person's life 100% better. These are the only kind of interviews that you should apply for to begin with, right? So never have salary conversations in your interview. Once they have reached out to you, now there's a second or a third round wherein they want to have this conversation with you. You should be able to very clearly articulate where can you add value and create impact in their company, and why are you so useful for the company. If you're able to do that for them, you can definitely negotiate a better salary rate. And you should know what is at, so do your research, do your in-depth research. What kind of projects are they working on? What is it that, and where in these projects can you add a lot of value? So for example, if you are working in a company, if you're working in an MNC right now, where they're not using AI at all. But while you were working, you found time to work on AI as well. And now you have certifications in AI. So if you're trying to negotiate a salary and they're only giving you a hike based on your current amount, you tell them that I know so and so things in AI. I know you are using AI. I can help your company pivot into AI. So now I am negotiating my salary based on what value I can create in your company, and not just based on what I am currently getting. So, what more value can you add? What other certifications you have which you weren't currently using in this company, and now you know that you have these skills, and you'll get to use these skills. You'll get opportunities to use these skills in their company. That is why the hike is justified if it is more than what they are already giving you. Creating that value more than you're creating in your current company, and telling them the reason why I'm coming to your company is so that I'll get an opportunity to create this value. That'll help you negotiate your salary.
Yeah, it's very simple. Like whenever you consider yourself a salesman for a cell phone company, and you're just working for a retail shop. When a customer comes and asks you what's the price for this mobile, what are the kind of things that this mobile actually has. So most of people actually do tell the price first, and they'll be explaining the kind of things which they have actually in this mobile, the accessories, the model, the features in this mobile, the AI feature, and different things, the camera specifications, whatever thing, RAM, ROM. And the basic thing they forget is whenever they tell the price for the mobile, the very first step, then the concentration for the person who is looking at that mobile will not be thinking about what the
Yes.
futures are actually existing. They'll be thinking like, okay, the price is this, so whether it will be affordable for me or not. So if consider the
Yes.
salesperson is explaining the characteristics for this mobile, the specifications, and each and everything, then their concentration will be on the specifications for the mobile. And if one finds the true value of this mobile, then they at last they will be thinking like, okay, I can afford this mobile irrespective of the price, because they need the specifications which is very well important to buy the phone. So in the same manner, whenever we are kind of communicating with the business, with our partners, with the person who is sitting in front of you as an HR for an interview, if we are able to prove our own
Yes.
self, if we are able to prove the kind of value which we can give to the company when we are recruiter, then I think that's the way in which one can make sure that they can get the best salary out from the company. I do accept now, ma'am. So right
Correct.
now, yeah, right now we
Yeah.
have,
And add value where they need it.
yeah,
Yes.
yes, to tell me, ma'am. You're just trying to tell something.
No, no, I said create value where they need it. Like when we were talking about benefits, right? You're again talking for a mobile salesperson, they'll have very less time. Again, if the mobile salesperson is listening that what the other person really needs, show them the product that solves that problem, right? Then talk about the price. Similarly, in a company, do your research because you'll not be listening to them, they'll not give you time. Similarly, for an interview, do your research. What is it that the company is seeking for? To in which direction are they pivoting? Are they expanding into a different industry? Do all of that search and then mention where can you create value. Yeah.
Great, ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, how can actually one can balance the work life and prioritize self-care? Because most of the people, they'll be too much kind of working for the company. They'll be working for till late, midnight, 11, and they'll be waking up again at 5 in the morning. So at that point of time, how can one successfully balance between work and life? And especially they have to give a self prioritize for themselves. They have to give a priority for one's own life in their daily life. So tell us about it, ma'am.
Okay, so first things first, if you're working from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., you cannot have a work life balance. And it is absolutely okay if you don't have a work life balance. If you are absolutely in love with what you're doing, you're passionate about it, and that's your hobby, you have achieved your work life balance at your workplace. So it doesn't make a difference, right? Whereas if you are someone who's not yet found what you want in life, try and take out at least 2 hours every day to work on your hobbies. Okay, hobbies or your passion. One very simple way to have a work life balance, if you haven't found your hobbies, you haven't found your passion, and maybe what you're working for is also something you're not really in love with it. If you play a team sport, it touches each and every part of your self care. First, you'll be working out, you need a physical activity every day, right? You'll have body movement. Second, every individual needs a feeling of community. If you are playing in a team, you feel like a part of a community, right? And then third is that you would get some time outside. So whenever you're playing a sport, technically you're not thinking about the issues or the stresses that you have in life, right? So your mental health also improves because of it. And playing any team sport would help you bring in work life balance into your life.
Great, ma'am. So also coming on to the next part, personal growth. So tell us, ma'am, we have spoke about emotional intelligence in the beginning of our interview. So tell us, how can one develop emotional
Correct.
intelligence and how can one self-aware about themselves in the daily life, ma'am?
It's a very slow process, but you have to be consistent. For some people, journaling helps. For some people, introspection and retrospection helps. Self awareness comes slowly, but you have to be willing to accept your flaws. That has to be your first step. A lot of times, because we are arrogant or we are ignorant, we are not willing to take that step of self realization where we realize that I'm a flawed human being. The moment you will realize that there's nothing perfect in the world, you are not perfect, no one else is perfect, you'll become more accepting of all the imperfections that lie in the world. So that's your first step. Identifying your flaws and accepting them and being okay with it. Not so there are times when people are on their weight loss journey, right? If you are on your weight loss journey, one odd day you end up having a chocolate cake. The relationship that you have with that one day of eating your chocolate cake is where you have to tell yourself, okay, this is my weakness. Chocolate is my weakness. How do I get around it? And not start obsessing about it. Oh my God, I ate a chocolate cake. Why did you eat that chocolate cake? Which need were you trying to fulfill when you ate that chocolate cake? What other alternatives can you have? It is going to happen again. Prepare yourself. How can you keep yourself from again taking in so many calories because you know it is one of your weaknesses? It is a flaw in you. Work on that flaw instead of criticizing yourself for having that flaw. That's about it.
Yeah, it's very simple and it's a very great message. Accept your flaws. But only when you are able to accept your flaws, you will be able to know about yourself and you will be able to move forward. Instead of not accepting
Yes.
your flaws and you keep on complaining or fighting with others, simply accept your flaws and move on so
Yes.
that it will lead to success. That's very simple now. So also tell us the effective ways to manage time and prioritize task, because if one goes to do a task, they have to think about the timings. They have to make sure that they finish the task at the given time. So tell us, how can one actually prioritize the works and finish the works within a stipulated period of time? So tell us all about it now.
So we have 24 hours, right? We cannot do everything. It is very difficult for us to do everything. Uh, but you can become a powerful individual who can do all of this, provided you are working on your urgent important matrix. This is also again a 1 hour long session wherein I teach people to work on their urgent and important matrix. So you'll create a matrix, there will be 4 quadrants. You will identify what activities are urgent and important, what are urgent and not important, what are not urgent but important, what are not important and not urgent, right? So you have to identify all these activities, split them these activities in 4 different quadrants. You would realize that you are focusing on certain things just because people think that they are important and they need to be done. You would realize I can go without doing this activity as well. This activity is not helping me improve as a person, it's not helping me achieve my goals. Maybe I can do without it. First, learn to prioritize your activities in life. Only once you've prioritized that will you be able to manage time, right? So that is how learning prioritizing your activities by adding them to these 4 different quadrants is how you can manage it the best. One very important thing is when you are creating this matrix, the activities that you're putting in not important and not urgent, make sure that you don't pick up any activity in this quadrant until you have touched all the other 3 quadrants. You will realize a lot of your time leaks. Time leaks are like scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on YouTube, right? A lot of your time leaks are going in this 4th quadrant, right? Where you are doing tasks which are neither important nor urgent, but you're doing them just because you're doing it. Only when you'll consciously work on all the other 3 quadrants before touching any activity related to the 4th quadrant will you be able to do better.
That's great. That's great. So I'm just thinking of a circle which is split into 4 quadrants. Whatever the most important things,
Yes.
you're just putting in the first 3 quadrants, and in the last quadrant is the most least thing. So that even if you're not having any enough time, you do not want to worry about the least kind of works, like the lesser things which you do not want to kind of concentrate upon. I do understand that this is the best
Yes.
thing. It's like ikigai. I think there is a famous term called ikigai in Japanese, where the same kind of formula is
Yes.
used in order to find the best work for you. If you want to find the best work for you, the same 4 quadrants in a circle, and it's like it's not most about like a quadrant. It's like the intersection of all these work. At what work you are actually specialized at, what work the world actually needs, and for what work you will be getting paid. So all these kind of different things comes and joins in one single intersection. So I think that's the intersection which actually people need to recognize in order to find success, because only when they kind of go and work with the kind of things they are best at, then they'll be able to kind of satisfy the world, and also at the same time they'll be able to get some revenue out of it, which will help them run their daily life. I do understand, ma'am. So also tell us, ma'am, the other
Yes.
set of question is, so now we have discussed a lot about personal growth. So tell us, how can one build confidence and how one can overcome self-doubt? Because when it comes to self-doubt, people are always hesitating whether and doubting themselves whether they are eligible for it or not. So how can one actually truly eliminate this self-doubt and build confidence in the day-to-day life now?
Okay, so self doubt is rarely internal. A lot of times there is a lot of external noise wherein people are telling you that you can't do it. Very rarely would it be that I can't do it. You might feel it's self doubt. You could think that it's self doubt, but it's in the way that people have operated around you. How often have people celebrated your victories? How often have people criticized your flaws? That ratio, that builds a lot of self doubt, right? If you are living in a nurturing environment wherein your parents, your family, your friends are always feeding you positivity and they're focusing on your positives, they are helping you identify your negatives, but they are not focusing on your negatives, right? The moment you have that nurturing environment, you would realize you don't have any self doubts. Self doubts come from a place of when you don't have that nurturing environment. How can you overcome it? You have to think of a very simple example. Okay, so if you start working on yourself and you enter the gym, you would probably start by lifting 1 kg weights. The only person who might laugh at you or criticize you would be someone who is outside the gym because you're picking up 1 kg weights. Whereas a bodybuilder who would probably be picking up 100 kg weights, he would at best tell you what should be a correct posture. That's the only feedback that person will give you. He will never criticize, because the person who got onto this journey wherein now he can lift 100 kgs was also one day lifting 1 kgs, and he understands the importance of the first step. Only people who've not taken the first step will criticize the first step. First step is the easiest and it's the difficult. It's most difficult. It's easiest when it comes to physically actually taking that step. It's toughest when it's building your own unnecessary apprehensions in your mind, which is created because of the society and your environment. That's where you can get, that's where you have to rid yourself of self doubt.
So it's basically like getting out of the comfort zone, because only when we get out of that, we'll be able to kind of analyze and kind of achieve the things what we want.
Just not be very receptive of criticism. Understand criticism, improve yourself. Don't let it impact your journey. Don't stop because someone criticized. Do better because someone criticized. Don't start picking up 5 kg weights because you were picking 1 kg weights and someone laughed, because it's a journey. You might end up having a muscle tear and having a month long injury wherein you can't work out at all. So don't work to impress others. Understand that I cannot stay at 1 kg. I have to go to 2 kg in couple of days, because probably this is not success. Understand that when people are criticizing you and work on getting better. But don't try to impress others and don't give up.
That's great, ma'am. So also tell us what are some strategies for continuous learning and professional development? Because if one goes to a company and if one gets settled, they'll not be thinking of getting continuous learning, because life is a journey. In each and every day, it will give a different lesson, a different story. So there is a must for continuous learning. So tell us, how can one achieve this continuous learning and kind of develop oneself in their professional life, ma'am?
Don't get lazy and be very, very curious always. Curiosity is a best teacher. You'll see a small child, right? There is a small child is always very inquisitive. You have that small child. All of us have that small child inside all of us. M- Keep that small child, inquisitive child alive. Ask a lot of questions. Stay curious. Learn a lot. You will find in the process of learning. So, if you're curious, you'll find out about 10 things. Out of these 10 things, you'd be extremely motivated about learning those 2 things, and those 2 things would also be relevant, right? So, for example, if you are a coder or you're a developer and you are not interested in coding and developing, but you have exposure to soft skills, sorry, you have exposure to software development. Suddenly, you found something which is of your interest in AI, but it is only a tool. You don't have to develop it, you just have to learn the tool. As a software developer, you'll be able to learn the tool better because at least you understand what is the underlying mechanism of this tool. So maybe you found something and now you're not working on, so for example, you code in Perl or you code in Python. Now suddenly you found an AI tool which is of your interest, and you are focusing on learning that tool and applications of that tool and identifying business use of that tool, right? So keep on exploring, keep on figuring out, stay curious. You will hit something that you really love and you would be passionate about.
Great, great, ma'am. So also you're telling that you're also an author. So tell us, ma'am, did you publish any books from your side? And if you had already did, So tell us about the book now.
Okay, so the book that I've published, you can say that I love, like, my vision and my soft skill training is something that derives me, but my passion is writing. I love writing, absolutely love writing. I've been writing since I was very young, but in the corporate world, again, I was not, because you're not sure about your first book, right? It takes you time to bring in that confidence. There is, again, the idea of self doubt. And the only way I overcame self doubt is when I told myself, okay, I've written a book and I'm publishing it. Majority of the people haven't done it. So maybe my first step towards it to think of it in a positive way. So it's a fiction. It's about a girl's life. It's a 200 page book. It is a very simple read. It's a kind of read if someone is not very comfortable with their English. It's a kind of read that will help you improve your English also. It's got nothing to do with soft skills or image consulting. It's just an interesting book. So this is the book that I've written. It's called The Girl in a Pink Bow.
Can you please place it in front of the camera even before so that people can see?
Can
Yeah,
you see it now? Is it
yeah, yeah.
clear?
The Girl in a Pink Bow, written by Pearl Sohal. Yeah, yeah, that's great.
Yes,
That's great, man.
yes. Yeah. This is the book that I've written, and it's
And
fiction.
also you
And
can show us the back of the book because I can see your profile photo over there so that people will be able to
yes,
uh,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's you over there, right, ma'am? Yeah, that's great. That's great.
yes, yes,
That's great,
yeah.
ma'am. So which year have you actually published this book, ma'am?
I published it this year. I published it 3 months ago, 4 months ago.
That's great. That's great now. So yeah, that's great conversation with you, speaking about image consulting, personal development and everything. So one last question for this interview is very simple, ma'am. Via this interview, if there is any kind of message that you wanted to tell to the people who are watching this interview right now, what is the message would you like to convey to them, ma'am?
I think one very simple message is that please find happiness in small things, have positive thoughts. There's one thing that I think I've mentioned in the book also, the quality of blood that's circulating in our body that identifies or tells our physical health, but the quality of thoughts which are revolving or which are circulating in our body, the quality of thoughts circulating our mind, that depicts our mental health. So work on your positive thoughts as much as you work on keeping your blood pure and clean. That's about it.
I'm not telling it to praise you or something, but I tell that this is one of the most great messages which I heard from people because it's very
Happy.
simple. Yeah, it's very simple because based upon your circulation of blood, based upon the purity of your blood, it determines
Yes.
the physical day to day daily life of your body. If your blood is very pure,
Yes.
and it's totally
Mhm.
good, then you can have a good
Mhm.
physical activity, good life without any kind of health problems. So, in the same way, our positive thoughts play a very vital role in
Mhm.
our life. If we think good, good things we can attract. If you're not thinking good, then the good things will not come to us. So, I think that's the
Yes.
most powerful message. Keep your blood clean
Mhm.
by eating some good foods. Keep your thoughts good by speaking to someone who have the same kind of positive thoughts. I think that's the great message which we can hear from you from this interview, ma'am. So people who are watching this interview, please do kindly subscribe to our Women Today YouTube channel. If you have any kind of doubts regarding image consultant, personality development, our Pearl Sohal ma'am is available for you. She has also derived and curated a video for 1 hour which will help you grow in your professional corporate life, making you dress yourself in the best way, making your communication skills, interpersonal skills, each and everything what is required to make yourself the best in your corporate life. And she has just curated this interview video for just 99 rupees. I'll just provide the link over here in the YouTube description so that you can have a look at it. And if people want to have some online or offline one-to-one sessions with her, she is there to help you out. I'll mention her Instagram link down here so that you can have a conversation with her. Get yourself enrolled in her company, in her day-to-day sessions, online or offline, based upon your priority. And that's all about this interview. So thank you once again, Pearl Sohal ma'am, for just giving me an opportunity to host this interview. So, good evening, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, ma'am. So,